Hi, I'm not John. The more astute amongst you will have noticed that. To the rest of you, don't worry, I haven't been in a terrible accident. I'm a different person. My name is Ali, and I'm here because John is not, which I sort of covered about 10 seconds ago. Do try and keep up. This is what those in the biz call a channel takeover. See this? All this? It's mine. Mine. At least until someone comes and takes it away from me. However, I do have a beard and I can talk, so this shouldn't be too hard for you to adjust to. So I thought I'd talk about video games, which is weirdly something I've never done on my own channel. Sorry to anyone that was interested in watching my videos and has now been put off forever. So without further ado, here's a rundown of some of my favourite games from my past that you've maybe, hopefully, not heard of before. First up is Tombi, or Toombi as I used to call it, for the PS1. I believe it's called Tomba outside of the European market. It was a classic side-scrolling platformer/adventure type game. Although it operated predominantly in a sort of 2D plane, you could climb into the background or out into the foreground for certain parts of the levels. It was actually one of the first games to make use of the rumble feature of the dual shock controllers, and it made heavy use of the old analog sticks as well. The basic premise was that you played the role of a magenta-haired wild boy wearing nothing but green pants, attempting to recover his grandfather's magic bracelet from a horde of evil pigs. It was a very strange game. You had a mace and later a boomerang that you just sort of used to whack things with, but that didn't really do any damage per se. The way you attacked enemies was to jump on them and do a flip, which was weird. And he'd also store things in his stomach, like creatures or items, which was more than a little bit perturbing. Also oddly muscular for someone who I think was supposed to just be a boy. So it was a very fun game. I enjoyed playing it. Hard copies I believe are very rare nowadays because the company went bust, but I think that it's on the PlayStation Network if you want to download it and have a go. Another PS1 game, this time Zero Divide 2. It's your standard beat 'em up fighting game like Tekken or Dead or Alive or Soul Calibur, but it's done with robots. I don't know why, just all the characters are robots. And they fight each other. For reasons. At the end you fight a butt-naked lady robot because it's not exactly a spectacular game, but I really liked it. And one of the interesting things about it is that it has a sort of dynamic damage system where you can smash off pieces of the robotic outer armour shell of all the characters. It leaves some of them looking like creepy Terminator skeleton-esque creatures, but you know, that's Japan, traumatising children for sport. I seem to remember it having quite a big roster with lots of hidden characters, and the variety is weird. There are some zany creatures fighting it out in the robot dueling world. God knows if you'll be able to find a copy of it for yourselves. Next, again, PS1. I'm sensing a pattern here. This time it's Jade Cocoon, the story of Tanam... I don't know whatever the subtitle says. It's not important. This is still one of the best games I've ever played. It's just great. I wish it was longer. They made a sequel and it doesn't match up. It just doesn't match up. I just want the original but like extended edition, like fucking Lord of the Rings box set version. If I had to sum this game up in a sentence, it would be Studio Ghibli does Pokemon. You play this guy who's just living in this village and suddenly one day it gets ransacked by these creatures from the forest, these monsters. They put everyone to sleep or something in the village, and then he has to go out and sort this issue by catching monsters and making them fight each other. But you can also fight the monsters yourself if you really want to. It's just, it's so good. It's so good. There's like mind-boggling dream sequence storyline, fucking gods and creatures, and play it, get it and play it. I don't even care if you can't. If you don't like it, we can't be friends. It's that simple. I'm going to break the combo now and talk about a game on a different console, the PlayStation 2. This game is called Way of the Samurai, and I've literally never heard anyone else talk about it ever. It's good. Basically, you're just a samurai wandering about, a ronin, I think that's what they're called, when they're just sort of wandering samurai. It's quite a short, simple story, But the point is, there's decisions that you have to make at various points throughout the story, and it sort of branches off and goes in different directions. It's a bit like Mass Effect in that way, but let's not think about Mass Effect and compare it to this game, because that's not going to work. And you get different swords that you buy or you win, and they can break. You can spend like ages, like you can pay money to upgrade the sword. It'd be really good. Fight and just break it and just ruin it. But I really, really liked it. Yeah, recommended. Okay, we're going back to PS1 again. Legend of Legaia. It is good. It's a good game. It's like a role-playing game like Final Fantasy. You are a guy, although you end up as a team of 3 people, as is the way with these sort of things where you pick up people along the way, and you live in this world that gets invaded by mist, and it's full of monsters, and they attack people and they turn them into sort of monster hybrids, and then you go around beating the shit out of things until you beat the shit out of the really big monster that destroyed your home at the beginning of the game. The battles are quite ingenious. You sort of program in commands like low kick, high kick, left, right punch, etc. And then if you get certain combinations of those, you do a special move. It's like a really slow beat 'em up combined with Final Fantasy. So there you go, a selection of obscure games from my childhood that I enjoyed and have now shared with you. If you liked this, like it, maybe head over to my channel. If you didn't enjoy this, John will be back soon, I'm sure. Sorry.